I'm going to share my thoughts on Chapter 6 Season 2, from the good, the bad, and the ugly. The 34th season of Fortnite was another heist themed season, which we've seen multiple times before, and even though some may consider it a copy and paste season, I think Fortnite did enough to make it feel intrinsically unique. And I think that has a lot to do with the gameplay system this season. At the start of the season I had my doubts, because what usually happens is these new systems become a lot more detriment to your game as the season progresses. This new shiny thing ends up being a hindrance. Basically, the main selling point of the season becomes a chore. And normally what happens is people become less interested in competing for vaults, which has often happened in Fortnite Battle Royale seasons. But this season, Fortnite made sure that the vault breaking mechanic was integral from day one of the season to the end of the season. If you wanted the mythics, or now of course the exotics, you needed that deal bit. If you didn't have it, no matter how hard you tried, you could not buy them from the black market, meaning you would have to hit Fletcher Kane's bank or his train. So it's kind of funny and a little ironic that a fictional meme coin has essentially stabilized a gameplay mechanic and a gameplay system for the majority of the season. So congratulations for improving that side of the game, Fortnite, because I have complained about this every season that we have that sort of mechanic. It becomes pointless almost halfway through the season. Overall, this season I found myself struggling to play the game, but that's not really Fortnite's fault. I just want to try different games, more experiences. That said, I've really been enjoying having Fletcher Kane's medallion and his mammoth pistol. That gun might be broken for all rarities, to be fair, but it's the right kind of broken. It's so, well, fun until you probably get hit by it, to be fair. Well, that's something good, but something bad for me is the entire shotgun meta, or honestly, lack of one. Right now we have the Outlaw, Sentinel, Infiltrator, Twinfire Auto, and if you can even count it, the Pump and Dump. And if it was up to me, I would dump every single shotgun into the vault next season. I was about to consider that the Sentinel and Infiltrator are salvageable next season. Of course they're pumps, so essentially I would like better pumps. But in reality, this has to be the weakest shotgun pool in Fortnite history. Let me know down in the comments if you can name any others. I think we've had a lot more frustrating shotgun metas, like overpowered shotguns, but never one where everything feels insanely weak. Okay, maybe a couple in Chapter 5, but this season I found myself sticking with the Infiltrator. But over the last few days I've been leaning more towards the Sentinel. But that said, both of them would need to be a high rarity to even feel reliable this season. I hope they improve it for next season, but with next season being a Star Wars themed season, I don't know how that season will go about fixing the shotgun meta. I think this shotgun meta will possibly plague the entire chapter. Roll on Chapter 7 for shotguns. So of course, if you are enjoying the content so far, make sure to hit the like button and of course subscribe to the channel. Now let's talk about assault rifles. I think rifles might be the most balanced part of this season. I don't really find myself second guessing which one I'm picking up, unlike the shotguns. Of course, the collateral isn't something you'd use for long range, but it still does its job pretty well. It's meant for that aggressive short to mid-range pressure, and in that role it definitely delivers. And then there's the Twister versus Striker debate. Personally, I go with the burst. I'm on keyboard and mouse and I trust my long range aim, and with the burst scope it just feels a lot cleaner for me, more consistent for me. It better suits my style, and I know I'm probably in the minority with that, but that's fine. And don't get me wrong, the Twister is fine. Like whatever AR I pick up, I'm going to probably use it the entirety of the game. I'm not really looking with what AR I'm using, unlike the trash shotguns. Now of course, mid-season we did have the introduction of the Twin Mag, which is similar to the Hollow Twist and I think does one more damage or something, so pretty similar guns. Again, I believe it's preference. It's got a relatively decent scope as well. While the ARs are fine, one weapon I definitely don't want to see next season is the Sticky Grenade Launcher. Honestly, there were games where it had me straight up tilted. It felt like it was hitting through my builds from my perspective, and it's nearly impossible for that reason to defend against. It's the only thing that made me just close Fortnite and go and play something else. Most of the time I feel like explosives don't offer much in terms of intelligent play. They are exceptions to that rule, but unfortunately for the most part they are just spammy weapons. It would be amazing to have a season of Battle Royale with no explosive weapons, just to shake things up. But with a Star Wars season incoming, I got a feeling we're going to get another overpowered explosive item. So currently I would be surprised if the Star Wars season fixed the shotgun meta or the explosive problem. Although the response to this video, it seems like most of you don't have that problem, so I guess let's continue with the explosive methods that some seasons do carry. This season we've had some Mortal Kombat collab items in the game, while Sub-Zero's mythic I would pick up sometimes, but the Scorpion mythic on the other hand isn't one I pick up. I feel like the throw spear attack option leaves you far too exposed. I feel like it's far too much of a risk, and every time I use this attack, I feel like the fight swings in the favour of the opposition. But on the whole, the collab has been pretty cool. But talking about melee items, we can't brush past the kneecapper. Now, the kneecapper is very much a melee item, but as the season has progressed for me, I find myself less using it for its attackive prowess. Because similar to the Scorpion combat kit, it's just really messy trying to combo someone, so I just use it for its mobility, and it's really good for that. Unless I'm using it for its charge smash, and I'm hitting someone into the stratosphere, and then currently how I'm playing the game, that's the only time I'm going to hit someone with the kneecapper. But using these items as a melee item, unfortunately late game, is out of the question for me. What's the point of playing a whole game for 20 minutes and getting eliminated because you want to try and bludgeon someone? Now, using the kneecapper to launch a player away, I think it's probably a better option, but you still run a risk of being unable to get out in that animation and being beamed. This problem does plague the majority of melee items, to be fair. I guess Fortnite has it in there as a sort of a buy-off. This melee item is really powerful, but at the same time, if you're going to use it, you're going to have a few seconds where you can't build. So I guess essentially it's there to balance the item, but at the same time, this means I'm less likely to pick it up. Definitely after the initial, oh my god, this is such a cool item, it's new, till when it becomes a more established item in the loot pool. Now, unfortunately, one item I had completely forgot is still a thing in Fortnite are boons. So knowing I was doing this video, once again, I would have to familiarize myself with the boons. And unfortunately, given how good gold this season is, some of the boons are completely ineffective. Greed boon. Receive extra gold bars from containers and eliminations. Pointless. Gold rush boon. Opening containers grants the gold rush effect. So I guess it's good for mobility, you can stay in zone a bit, open a few containers, use the gold effect to run a bit faster, farm a bit quicker, but it's too specific for me. Gold ammo boon. Receive ammo when picking up gold bars. Again, you struggle to pick up gold bars because of how good the gold bars are. You've effectively already maxed out on that. The only good one, and it is a good one to be fair, is Vulture Boon. Enemies who are eliminated will be marked on the map for a short time. And during this match you're seeing here, I went to one of the black markets, see how black markets can still be important even weeks before the end of the season. Keeping the gameplay system, which of course was a big selling point at the start of the season, still very much important in the season's final days. Now you might say, but Jay, you completely forgot about boons. But this time Fortnite has layered their sort of buying system, so it doesn't rely on one thing. Of course you can go to black markets and just spend gold. Of course not enough to deplete your gold, as I keep finding out because I always have max gold. But of course for the mythics and the exotics you need dill bits, and also for the boon, which means there's more reasons to keep robbing the vaults, robbing the train, which this season I believe they've done superb at. Honestly, replicating this sort of system for next season is going to be difficult, but we see what Fortnite can come up with. But we are talking about the boons, and Fortnite needs to improve that going into next season if they indeed keep the boons. I was about to say something along the lines of, I guess they will keep the boons into the end of the chapter, but to be fair, didn't they get rid of augments halfway through a chapter, and they were a lot more successful than boons. Okay, they kept augments up until Chapter 5 Season 1, and they had it throughout Chapter 4, but I feel like the last two seasons of Chapter 4, in terms of augments, they just didn't hit the mark. When I say they kept it up to Chapter 5 Season 1, I'm lying. They made augments for Chapter 5 Season 1, but they were disabled the entire season and never heard from again. Blimey, Flowberry Looter would have been broken. Gain a Flowberry Fizz and get a splash of Flowberry when opening any container. So this chapter, in terms of storyline, I have dipped in and out, but I think narratively it's a much better told story, although judging by the response I got on this trailer, maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. People seem tilted by the use of meme characters to drive narrative and said it should have been someone like Hope or Jade. Please tell me, with keeping the integrity of the scene intact without completely changing it, how does Hope or Jade, after what they've been through, especially Hope with the entire chapter umming and ahhing about using the power of Pandora's box, will just randomly put on a mask? Only a meme character like Dill would be stupid and dumb enough to do that, to be able to then see what Diego is experiencing. So without completely changing the whole scene, we would not have this scene. And if you want to put Hope in there, and Jade, maybe I haven't been following the story as well as I thought I have. Like, did she not feel responsible for her own sister's actions in the first season of Chapter 5, which led her to have so much doubt about later on with the story of Pandora's Box, and that she was umming and ahhing because of that? So would she walk into a random room, okay, it's not random, it is the 1,000 Faces, and just put on the mask? I don't know. Maybe I'm silly. We have certain people telling me that they need to know in this teaser why Diego has been corrupted. Bro, we're going to find that out. It's not time. Like, if you look at Diego's interactions, he seems to know what he's doing. When all of this ends, I wonder whether we be friends or enemies. I have a plan. When things are at their darkest, remember I know who I am. Honestly, I feel like people don't like. I don't know anymore. I don't know. But what annoys me more than anything is that we can't decompartmentalize the story from now. Like, yes, if you want to talk about how bad or how slow the story sometimes is, then we're never going to get anywhere. I am just saying this chapter and even Chapter 5 has been much better pacing. The seasonal events we had last chapter were so much better than what we've had before in recent years. And if you want to tell me how they could have done the scene 10,000 different ways and completely changed it, then that is not really up for debate. That is just hypotheticals and doesn't really get you anywhere. Like, we saw the puppeteer. We know the dark presence who controls the puppeteer now controls Diego. Next season probably won't involve Diego because I think they will focus more on Kendo and Hope and whatever the Star Wars universe brings. Maybe another Zero Shard, and maybe we will find out more about the Titan S thing that lays beneath Lone Wolf Mansion, and then we will connect them two stories up. Like, it'd be really cool if Fortnite can focus during a chapter on more than one narrative. So I did ask my community, what are your final thoughts about Chapter 6 Season 2? What did you like? What did you hate? Apparently I can't write. But anyway, they responded. Luna says, the Bat and Mortal Kombat mythics, they are super annoying to come across and they, I don't know, need to nerf them or completely get rid of them. The items, they are annoying and the animations are kind of clunky. And the rocket drill is annoying too, so many people can quickly escape. I agree with the rocket drill, but I also would say that offensively, it's not as strong as something like the rocket ram was. And that recently got back into the game, but with only 10 usage. So as annoying as the rocket ram maybe is in terms of being an item that people use to retreat with, I think all in all, it's okay. Unfortunately, any mobility item can be used in that way where you're shooting someone, they're almost eliminated, and they're able to just get away. It's so frustrating, but unfortunately I feel like the shockwaves can do that. The kneecapper can also do that. A car could do that. Dusk Raider V says, a 5 out of 10. Did not like it, voting votes for mythics, but when the exotics came in, I just did not like the season. Yeah, I'm completely polar opposite on that, but I can see why. I think a lot of it actually comes down to how you first experience a new item. And if it's a negative experience, it's going to paint a very different picture to someone who has a positive experience the first time they use an item and the second time. Fanatic Bright says, 9 out of 10 for me. This season had so much content. And when the first wave of exotics arrived this season, genuinely felt like a top 3 season. See the contrast between two people in my community said one hated the arrival of the exotics and one loved it. The story was kind of boring until the end, but I can't complain too much because this season mainly built up stuff. Overall, this season was amazing, but still not better than season 1. Oh, interesting. Spectacular Game Clip says, I liked it. It was kind of boring, but he did enjoy the story quests and learned about the story as well and how it all happened. Good stuff. Lit says it's just Chapter 4 Season 4 again. I explained earlier in the video why I think, yes, it is possibly just a copy and paste, but I feel like the execution was so much better. And for that reason, they did improve. And Fortnite shit now? Okay. Right. But on the whole, I think it's been a really good season. It's unfortunate I sort of moved away from Fortnite to play other games, so I haven't played this season as much as other seasons, and maybe the reason why I'm looking back on the season with a bit of a distorted view, that I somewhat enjoyed it, but at the same time my attention span for it was also a little bit distant as well. Like, I would normally stream for a couple hours, but sometimes it's now for an hour. Like, when the game annoys me to something, I'll just that's it, I'm done with it, sort of thing. But this is me doing a retrospect and a review, so I have to not let that completely engulf my decision. I mean, it should somewhat, I guess, be involved as to how I rate the season. I don't think I'm going to give it like a rating out of 10, because I think majority of the time that is pretty stupid. Like, oh, it's an 8 out of 10. Like, why? And also we have confirmation or recency bias as well. See, while Chapter 6 Season 2 has been good, I still think currently Reload plays a much better Fortnite game. If you want to play Fortnite to how you somewhat remember it back in Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and even Chapter 3, play Reload, because now the game plays very differently. But as I said, the majority of times I really didn't want to play this season was when I got completely bombarded by the sticky grenade launcher. Without the sticky grenade launcher, I think it would have meant I would have played the season more. It's as simple and as easy as that, Fortnite. So of course, guys, let me know down below what you thought of Chapter 6 Season 2. I feel like now I'm at the conclusion bit. I'm a bit in a tug of war with myself with how much I played the game, and of course when I enjoyed what the game offered. But talking about Reload being a better game mode, I did do a video where I spent 48 hours just playing Reload. Now, obviously, of course, I did not spend actually 48 hours from start to finish playing it. Over the course of 48 hours, I committed a lot of hours to Reload to see how high my rank could get in Reload. And yeah, give that a watch. And of course, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It has been your boy, Mr. JRY. Till next time, bye-bye.